Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to break down one of the handiest little tools in SQL for filtering your data, the between operator. Seriously, if you've ever needed to find information that falls inside a specific range, this is the tool you've been looking for.
Just think about it for a second. How would you actually go about pulling a list of all your expenses from last month? Or let's say you're an analyst, and you need to find every single product your company sells that costs, between 50 and 100 bucks. These are exactly the kinds of questions that the between operator answers, and it does it so elegantly. Okay, here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with what between actually is, then we'll see it in action with both numbers and dates. We will cover the one single rule you absolutely have to remember about it. Then we'll look at some real-world uses, and finally, we'll give you a chance to try it out yourself. Let's do this. All right, first things first, what is this operator? Let's break down how it works, as SQL's own simple range finder. At its heart, the between operator is incredibly simple. You just pop it into a where clause to pick out values that fall within a range you define. Just think of it as a nice clean shortcut for saying greater than or equal to this value and less than or equal to that value. And the best part is how flexible it is. You can use it on numbers, right? Like prices or test scores. It's absolutely fantastic for date ranges, like finding orders or transactions. And get this, you can even use it for text, which is super useful for finding things that fall alphabetically in a range, like all last names between A and D.
Okay, enough theory. Theory is great, but let's see how this thing actually works in the wild. We'll start with the most common stuff, filtering by numbers and dates. So imagine we have this super simple products table. We've got a few items, a keyboard for 75 bucks, a mouse for 45, and a monitor for 150. Now let's say we want to find just the mid-range products. Here's our query. We're selecting the product name and its price from our products table. But the magic, of course, happens right here in the where clause, where price between 50 and 100. This is where we're setting our floor and our ceiling for the price.
So, what's this going to give us? Well, looking at our table, it would pull back the keyboard because its price of $75 falls right in that $50 to $100 range. The mouse? Too cheap. The monitor? Way too expensive. And we'll talk more about this in a second, but because between is inclusive, a product priced at exactly $50 or exactly $100 would also make the cut.
Okay, let's switch gears and see how this works with dates. Here we've got a transactions table with a couple of transactions in January and one lonely one over in February of 2024.
Now what if we want to see everything that happened in January? We'd write this query. Notice that date format, year, month, day. We're basically telling SQL, hey, go find me every single transaction that happened between the very first day of January and the very last day of January. And just like that, this query will pull up transactions 101 and 103 because their dates fall perfectly within our January range. This is exactly how you would answer that question from the beginning. How do I find all my expenses from last month?
Okay, now for what is probably the most critical detail about the between operator. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this.
The crucial point is this. Between is inclusive. This means it includes the start and end values of the range. As you can see right here, saying between A and B is the exact same thing as writing greater than or equal to A and less than or equal to B. Both of those endpoints are included in the results. It's not just what's in between them. Here's a really easy way to remember this. Imagine you have a concert ticket that's valid from Monday to Friday. You can get into the show on Monday, right? And you can still get in on Friday. The ticket isn't just for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The between operator works the exact same way.
So we get the what, and we get the how. But where are you actually going to use this thing? Let's connect the dots from the technical stuff to some practical, real-world applications.
For your own stuff, you could build a personal expense tracker and use between to find all your spending in March. Or maybe you're tracking your fitness data and you want to see how many days your step count was between, say, 8,000 and 12,000 steps. And in the business world, it's everywhere. Analysts use it to look at sales for a specific quarter, HR uses it to find employees within a certain salary band, and marketing uses it to identify customers who make those really valuable mid-range purchases.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground pretty quickly. So let's do a super quick summary of what we've learned and then get you set up to put all this into practice.
So, to recap, between is your best friend for filtering data inside a specific range. It works beautifully for both numbers and dates. And
Say it with me, most importantly, it is always inclusive, meaning it includes the start and end values in its search.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? Between is a simple, highly readable, and really powerful tool that just cleans up your queries and makes filtering ranges incredibly intuitive.
Okay, now it's your turn to think like a data analyst. Take a look at these challenges. How would you write a query to find products in that price range or pull all the orders placed in April? Think about the tables, the columns, and the boundaries you'd set. This one simple operator opens up a whole world of possibilities. So my question to you is, what data range will you explore first?